Is nothing sacred? I guess, given the state of things out there these days, I think I know the answer to that. No. Apparently, there's been some backlash with the Muppet Babies. That's right. The Catholic League president has now claimed that Disney's Muppet Babies is promoting bad treatment of kids, promoting transitioning with an episode of Gonzo. Now, I don't even know where to start. Catholic League president claims that Disney's Muppet Babies are promoting bad behavior of kids and promoting transitioning with episode featuring a cross-dressing Gonzo. The latest episode, by the way, this is via Bounding into Comics. The latest episode of Muppet Babies have been accused of terrible things by the Catholic League president, Bill Donahue, over how it depicts beloved series male mainstay Gonzo as a dress-wearing princess, which he believes is an attempt to normalize the transgender ideology that boys can be girls and vice versa. Titled Gonzarella, which tells a story based loosely on the all-time classic tale of Cinderella, the episode in question sees Gonzo upset because he wanted to wear a princess dress to the royal ball, but all the girls said he wasn't supposed to because he's a boy. Now, look, there's only so much outrage that any one human is capable of having. And some things you have to weigh and measure. I actually think when I first saw this story, I thought, okay, whatever. It's a fictional puppet wearing a dress, not a big deal. But the fact that they baked the messaging in there to say, well, they say you're a boy, you shouldn't wear dresses. Look, boys shouldn't wear dresses. They're for women. I'm not saying that you can't. I'm just saying you look ridiculous. And that's okay. If you don't care, what does my opinion matter, right? I'm not out there saying you shouldn't be allowed to. I'm just saying you probably shouldn't. But hey, these Hollywood weirdos and stuff, they wear their dresses and everyone says that they're amazing. So what do I know? I wear the same variety of button-down t-shirts every single day. When you look at the actual episode from Muppet Babies, this is from July 29th, Gonzarella Muppet Babies on Disney Junior. It has 1.6 thousand upvotes and 2.7 thousand downvotes. Of course, comments disabled. That's because it's on YouTube Kids. So again, you have to worry a little bit. Leap and liverwurst. I understand why it can be bizarre. It can be questionable when something like this is very clearly targeted towards kids. It's one thing when you have these weird shows like Big Mouth and whatever that are borderline creepy, but a cartoon, but still clearly generally aimed towards adults. Same thing with She-Ra, another kind of gray area, but it's really for adults with children's minds. This, I don't think is like that. You have the perfect dress to wear to the ball. But the girl said, I'm not supposed to wear a dress. I don't want everyone to be upset with me, Gonzo says. They won't even know it's you. You got it. Yay, I wear a mask and now I'm just so happy because I'm wearing a splendorific dress. It's a little bizarre. It's a little bizarre. What it does is add fuel to a lot of people's belief that, kids are being targeted with this kind of, evil plan, so to speak. Look, this is one of those things where if you actually remember when I was young, shows like Mr. Rogers were pretty progressive. I remember an episode where I think it was Mr. Rogers, where his mailman, he has a black mailman, and then he washes his feet or something like that. It was kind of this weird moment that I don't know, it didn't feel as forced, but Maybe it was. I don't know, because I think people are so sensitive to this stuff now that sometimes they're right, but then sometimes maybe it's innocuous. Maybe there isn't somebody behind putting Gonzo in a dress, with like some plan, like, haha, let's get the kid, boy kids to wear more dresses. But I could see why people think that when you have the language around it. As the episode unfolds, Rizzo eventually reveals himself to be Gonzo's fairy rat father and grants the Blue Muppet his wish, giving him a blue dress to wear to the ball. However, in classic Cinderella fashion, the fairy rat father's magic eventually wears off. At the strike of cake o'clock, Gonzorella's dress disappears. Now, couldn't you have just as easily used any one of the female characters? Of course. So I think the decision to make it Gonzo was about, had a message to give to the kids. By the end of the episode, Gonzo reveals to the other Muppets that he was the mysterious princess all along, saying that he didn't reveal the fact sooner because you all expect me to look a certain way. The episode also reinforces the idea of using non-binary pronouns, as Piggy uses the they pronoun in reference to Gonzo's alter ego, recalling how Unknown Princess had suddenly left the ball. We met the most amazing princess, but they ran away when they left behind. All they left behind was this, showing Gonzo the shoe that was left behind. Given both that the princess is given, the title is given to a female members of royalty, and Piggy was referring to a single individual rather than a group of characters, it's clear that Disney is intentionally using the non-binary pronoun to describe Gonzorella, even when the other Muppets had no idea he was the princess. Yeah, I do think that that's pretty obvious. I don't think that it's necessarily or inherently wrong to teach kids to be accepting of all kinds of people. And if that's what you want, if you want to worry about, teaching kids that boys can wear dresses for, 0.03% of the population, the 99.9% of people will probably never even meet. That's your prerogative, but don't act surprised when people are wondering exactly what is going on here. As of writing, the Muppets Baby clip for Gonzorella episode shared on Disney Junior's official channel page has a negative ratio of nearly 2-to-1. In regards to the episode, Muppet Babies executive producer Tom Warburton recently explained, very early on, we want to do an episode where Gonzo just showed up to the playroom wearing a skirt, and it's no big deal, while also expressing his desire that the episode, quote, inspires kids who watch the show. No one cared or questioned it because Gonzo is always 200%, Gonzo 340% of the time, Warburton added. But then the story editor, co-producer Robert Brown said her team wanted to take it a step further and do a Cinderella story based on the idea. It was just so wonderfully Gonzo. We hope he inspires kids watching to be 347% of their selves in their own way too. I don't know. To me it seems a little odd. However, shortly after the episode's airing, Catholic League President Bill Donahue released a statement calling out Disney and condemning the tale of Gonzorella as abuse, based on his observation of the episode encouraging kids to reject their gender. The Muppet character Gonzo has, quote, transitioned to a girl, Gonzorella, wrote Donahue. That is why he's wearing a dress to the royal ball. He does more than wear a dress. He instructs Miss Piggy and Summer to do things a little bit different can be fun. Based on this premise that pretending to belong to the opposite gender shouldn't be fun, Donahue argues that the message that Disney is sending comes off as abnormal, explaining the message to children is a boy can be a girl and vice versa. Making this choice, they are told, is not something abnormal. It's just a little bit different. Moreover, it can be fun to reject your gender and pretend that you belong to the opposite. This needs to be called out for what it is, abuse. The Catholic League president has asserted anyone who is remotely knowledgeable about what this entails, the physical and psychological problems that boys and girls go through are multiple, with how pernicious this process is. 7 in 10 of those who transitioned are girls wanting to be boys, and the extent of their suffering is well documented. He's also disappointed there's little no coverage of conservative media. Look, I don't think that I'm a big fan of siding with, pearl clutching church, but I do think that this is a little bizarre. It is questionable that this is what they're worried about in a kids show, but hey, if you're still having your kids watching Disney programming and you're not screening it first, at this point, with all we know, it's probably, time to get more involved. I remember when the Muppet Babies were like having fun and this and that. Now everything has to have some, political messaging to it. And that's just modern day. I suppose get yourself a VHS player, tape player. Make sure you obtain VHS copies of classical programming or streaming or any other varieties because this is just going to be more and more of this. Guarantee it. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.